Hello and welcome to this lesson on forming urine, kidney function, and the nephron. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to describe the structure of the kidney and nephron, explain how ultrafiltration and selective reabsorption produce urine, and analyze how glucose in urine can indicate diabetes. In this lesson, we will follow the journey of blood through the kidney and discover how urine is formed. Let's get started. The kidneys are located towards the back of the abdomen. Now, even though they are hidden away inside the body, they are extremely important. They perform several vital functions. So what do the kidneys actually do? Their main jobs are to remove waste products such as urea, regulate the amount of water in the blood, and control the concentration of dissolved salts. This means the kidneys are not just removing waste. They are also helping to balance water and salts in the blood. These functions help maintain blood pressure and keep the body's internal conditions stable. The waste materials removed from the blood eventually leave the body as urine. Each kidney contains 3 main regions. Let's look at these regions one by one. The cortex forms the outer layer, so this is the outside part of the kidney. Beneath this lies the medulla. The medulla is found deeper inside the kidney. At the center is the renal pelvis, a funnel-shaped chamber that collects urine before it travels through the ureter to the bladder. So think of the renal pelvis as the collecting area. Once urine has been formed, it gathers here before moving down the ureter and into the bladder. Inside every kidney are approximately 1 million nephrons. That is a huge number of tiny filtering units working at the same time. These tiny structures are responsible for filtering blood and producing urine. The nephron is the functional unit of the kidney. This means it is the part of the kidney that filters the blood and helps produce urine. Each nephron begins with Bowman's capsule, which surrounds a cluster of capillaries called the glomerulus. This is where filtration begins. From there, the filtrate travels through the proximal convoluted tubule, then through the loop of Henle, followed by the distal convoluted tubule, and finally into the collecting duct. As the filtrate moves along this pathway, useful substances are returned to the blood. Waste products remain behind and continue through the nephron to form urine. The first stage of urine formation is called ultrafiltration. This takes place in the glomerulus, where blood enters under high pressure. That pressure forces small molecules through the capillary walls and into Bowman's capsule. The fluid that forms is called the filtrate. It contains water, glucose, salts, and urea. However, large molecules such as proteins and blood cells are too large to pass through the filter, so they remain in the bloodstream. After ultrafiltration, the filtrate enters the proximal convoluted tubule. This is the part of the nephron shown here, where an important process happens. Here, all glucose is normally reabsorbed back into the bloodstream. Notice that the glucose moves from the filtrate across the cells lining the tubule and into the blood capillary. This process uses active transport because glucose often moves against its concentration gradient. Active transport requires energy, so these cells need a good supply of ATP. The cells lining this part of the nephron contain many mitochondria to supply the energy required. So the many mitochondria help provide the energy needed to move glucose back into the blood. In a healthy person, no glucose should remain in the urine. When blood glucose concentration becomes very high, as in diabetes, more glucose is filtered into the nephron. Look at the diabetes side of the diagram. Because there is too much glucose in the blood, a larger amount enters the filtrate. The proximal convoluted tubule cannot reabsorb all of it, so instead of all the glucose returning to the bloodstream, some of it stays in the filtrate. The excess glucose remains in the filtrate. As the filtrate becomes urine, glucose is excreted from the body. This is why glucose may appear in the urine of a person with diabetes. For this reason, testing urine for glucose can help identify diabetes. As the filtrate passes through the loop of Henle, useful salts are reabsorbed into the bloodstream. Now, watch what happens next. Water follows these salts by osmosis. This is because water moves from a more dilute area to a more concentrated area. Further water reabsorption occurs in the collecting duct, but the amount of water reabsorbed is not always the same. It depends on the body's needs. If the body is dehydrated, more water is reabsorbed back into the blood. This means less water is lost in the urine, so the urine becomes more concentrated. If there is excess water, less is reabsorbed. So more water stays in the urine, making it more dilute. Different substances have different fates inside the nephron. Glucose is reabsorbed by active transport in the proximal convoluted tubule. Salts are mainly reabsorbed in the loop of Henle. Water is reabsorbed by osmosis in the loop of Henle and collecting duct. Urea is not reabsorbed. Instead, it remains in the urine and is removed from the body. Let's summarize how urine is formed. First, ultrafiltration produces the filtrate inside Bowman's capsule. Next, useful substances including glucose, salts, and water are selectively reabsorbed into the bloodstream. Finally, waste products such as urea, together with excess water and salts, remain in the filtrate and become urine. This remarkable process keeps the blood clean while maintaining the correct balance of water and dissolved substances. Now let's move on to an exam-style practice question. You can pause the video and try it yourself. Let's begin with question number 1. Describe the process of ultrafiltration in the kidney. Blood enters the glomerulus at high pressure. This pressure forces small molecules such as water, glucose, salts, and urea out of the capillaries and into Bowman's capsule. The fluid formed is called the filtrate. Next, question number 2. Explain how glucose is reabsorbed from the nephron. Glucose is reabsorbed in the proximal convoluted tubule. The glucose moves from the filtrate back into the blood by active transport. The cells of the tubule contain many mitochondria to provide energy for this process. In a healthy person, all glucose is reabsorbed. And for question number 3, a urine sample contains glucose. Explain why this may indicate that a person has diabetes. In diabetes, blood glucose levels can become very high. During ultrafiltration, large amounts of glucose enter the filtrate. Normally, glucose is reabsorbed in the proximal convoluted tubule. However, when blood glucose levels are too high, not all of the glucose can be reabsorbed. The excess glucose remains in the filtrate and is excreted in the urine.